Good morning, friends. This is the first episode in a long series of short videos we are getting recorded, which may help you to learn Finacle all by yourselves. So, the first episode we are going to discuss on the starting point in Finacle, how best to log in, and after we are logged in, how best to navigate within Finacle. And after we get a feel of the various screens, how to navigate, how to use the options, how to use the hotkeys in Finacle, what is the best way to log out of Finacle. So let's start off. So today's topic is getting familiarized with the login, logged in, and log off in Finacle. Rule number one is, in the branch, Finacle can be accessed only through Internet Explorer browser. Remember that big rule. We cannot get access to Finacle through Chrome or Firefox or Opera, any of the freely downloadable browser. We will not be able to get access to Finacle, only an Internet Explorer. So let's start the series. So let's straight away go and open an Internet Explorer site. By default, Finacle should start. The first message you may get while trying to log in will be this particular message. Remember, as you try to log in into Finacle, a few messages will pop up. This is the first of that message. Whenever a message pops up, remember a formula. Select the most positive message in the list. What is the positive message in the list? Continue to this website. And then the Finacle login screen comes, but there is an error message which comes in the form of a yellow ribbon. Remember, whenever you get a yellow ribbon as you are logging into Finacle, take the cursor, right click on the yellow ribbon and select Run this time. When you click on Run this time, again the Finacle login screen comes. Again a message pops up. Do you want to continue? So as per our formula, we are supposed to click on the positive message. Again another message pops up. Do you want to continue to run this application? As per our formula, click on the positive message, but the positive message is disabled. So how do we enable this positive message? By selecting the radio button, I accept. So I enable the radio button, I accept. The key run gets enabled. Again, a message pops up saying, allow access to the following application. As per the formula, the positive message allow. Now we are ready to log in to Finacle. So the first formula you should remember, whenever a message pops up as we are logging into Finacle, select the most positive message on the screen and you get the Finacle login screen. If at all you select a wrong key on the way to this screen, when you try to log in, Finacle again might give you a pop-up message saying some error message. So what you have to do, start all over again and remember to select the most positive message. So let's log in. User ID. The bank will give you a user ID in Finacle, which will have one or two alphabets of your name followed by the employee code which the bank will give you. So you will have a user ID and the bank will give you a default password. Today we will take the user ID as max001 and the default password. Remember, never ever disclose the password of Finacle to anybody. Never ever. That's a big rule you should remember. So I have given the default password and I click on login. As soon as I log in, the screen comes. And immediately remember, any good software, any good URL or website, the first time you log in, you should be forced to change the password because the default password someone already knows. And because Finacle is one of the most secured websites in Axis Bank, the first time you log into Finacle, it should force you to change your password. And here it is. The first message that comes is your password has expired. It should come because this is a very, very safe and secured software. So this is point number one. So what do? We go and change the password. How do we go and change the password? Remember, always go to solution. The problem to the key to all our problems in Finacle, you have to go to solution. That is why they say Finacle is a core banking solution. It gives you solutions to all the problems in banking, and the core of all such banking solutions is called Finacle. So system says your password has expired. So what do we do first? The first thing we should do is change the password. How do we change the password? Go to solution, pull down the menu, go to solution, pull down the menu, and there is only one solution available. What is that? Change credentials, which means without changing your credentials, you cannot move forward. So I click on change credentials. Finacle is asking you, are you sure you want to change the solution? Yes. Why? I went to solution, I changed the solution, I selected change credentials. Are you sure? Yes. And what is yes? All correct. Okay. And change credentials option has come. Change. And remember, in Finacle, always look at the screen, and if there is a red asterisk anywhere on the screen, the message is loud and clear. It is mandatory. You have to input a value in that field. So this is learning point number one. If there is a red asterisk, remember, it is a mandatory field. Learning point number two, every screen will have a help and a question mark, which will help you to learn all on this screen. If I want to know what is this screen all about, what is this change field, are alphabets allowed, numerals allowed, you don't need to ask anybody. You just need to go to help, click on the help. How do you click on? Just look at the screen. This cursor pointer, as soon as you take it to help, it will become an HTML hand. Click on the question mark help, and Finacle will give you all about this screen. Remember, this is the best way to learn Finacle on any screen. Whenever you have a doubt, remember the question mark help, click on the question mark, you will get all about the screen. So red asterisk and the help. Any screen, if you want to know the field, click on the question mark, it will explain all about the screen. Now on this screen, we have only one field. What is that? Change password. How do we proceed? Click on go. Change password comes. And if at all you want to know what are the rules of the game, it's here. How long should be the password? How short can be the password? Alphabets or numerals or special characters? What are the special characters allowed? Everything is available on this screen. So let's see how to change the password. Old password will be the default password the bank has given you. And the new password you can decide. Remember, never ever disclose the new password with anybody in the bank. So I give the old password, I created a new password, I confirmed the new password. How do I go ahead? Submit. Password changed successfully. Okay. So remember, two keywords here, go and submit. Remember this. Submit will complete the option. Go will take you to the next screen. Please remember the two keys you are going to use regularly in Finacle. One is go and one is submit. Go will take you to the next screen in the option, and submit will take you to the completion of the option. Go and submit. So we have changed the credentials successfully. The next step is you should log out from Finacle. You should log out from Finacle. Now here, there's a big rule. Remember, Finacle starts from this line. Please remember this big rule. Finacle starts from this line and below. And below. Finacle starts from this line and below, and above this line, it is not Finacle. Please remember this. Above this line, it is not Finacle. Only below this line is Finacle. Therefore, never ever click on any of the keys on this area on your screen. Never. If you click on this key, if you click on this key, if you click on any of the keys above this line, you may be logged out of Finacle. And the next time when you log into Finacle, Finacle might say that you are already logged into Finacle. So what is the best way to log out from Finacle? Only this red and white folder. Remember this big rule. Never ever click on any, especially these keys. We have a habit. Whenever we are in internet, I want to get out, take the cursor, click on the crossbar, you are out. Stop that bad habit. Never ever click on any of the keys here. And never ever click on any of the keys here. This is a habit we have in internet. This key, and this key. Because above this line, this is not Finacle. Therefore, remember a mantra. Always log out of Finacle only using this red and white folder. So, I take the cursor. As soon as I take the cursor to the red and white folder, the contextual help will tell you it is logout. So I click on logout. Are you sure message will come? Yes, I am sure. And Finacle will tell you You are been logged out of Finacle successfully. So what did we do? We logged in with the user ID and the default password given by the bank. We logged in because it is the first login, and because the password is already known to somebody, I will be forced to change the password. We have seen how to change the password. After Finacle changes the password successfully, log out of Finacle, and we have seen the most appropriate way to log out of Finacle, and we are back to the login screen. Now we should log into Finacle using the changed password. What is the user ID? The user ID given by the bank. And what is the password? The password which we have just changed, and click on login, and again we are in Finacle. Now, before we proceed, some key points to be noted here. Before we proceed, please cultivate the habit of looking at these important keys before you proceed. What are they on the screen? There are some information here. Last successful login information. This is very, very important. When did this user, who is the user? The user ID is here. When the user max001 logged in today, Finacle is telling the user max001 the last login time and date is here. When did this user log in last? 9th June 2020. Remember, you, the user, ensure you should have been in the branch on this date for sure. Otherwise, Finacle is trying to tell you, if you were on leave on this date, and if you have not logged into Finacle on this date, Finacle is trying to tell you someone else has logged into Finacle. It's a big, big warning. So what you should do? Immediately shoot a mail to your ops head and branch head saying, sir, madam, I was on leave on this date, but Finacle gives me a message saying somebody has logged into Finacle on this date. Please inform the authorities. Make it crystal clear. This is message number one, and this is point number one you should check. Ensure you were in the branch on this date. Message number two, last failed login information. Again, if you are sure you were on leave on this date, what is Finacle trying to tell you? Finacle is trying to tell you somebody has tried to log into Finacle. Again, a dangerous warning. Informed the concerned authorities and immediately change your password. First, inform your branch head and the operations head. Let them inform the IT department and find out who tried to log in or who has logged in. But you make your stand very clear that you were on leave on this date, and inform your offset so that any transactions that have happened on this date on this user ID, you will not be made liable because you have informed the bank you were on leave. So check up the user ID. It should be your user ID. You should not have been on leave on this date. You should not have been on leave this date. So 1, 2, 3 points, check without fail, only then proceed. How do I proceed? Again, solution. How do I proceed? Go to solution, pull down the menu in solution, go to solution, pull down the menu. There are only two solutions available to you. Change credentials, which we have already seen, is the solution which will help you to change your password whenever you require. And the next is FinCore. FinCore is the solution which will help you to do all transactions, all inquiries in Finacle. So I go to solution, I select FinCore. Are you sure? Yes, I am sure. Click on OK, and we are on the Finacle. So as a message pops up, remember the formula. Click on the positive message, allow, and Finacle should take us to the Finacle core banking solution. See, welcome to Finacle Core Banking. That is why it is called FinCore. This is the core of all the solutions in banking in Axis Bank. So, this is the most appropriate way to come to the screen. Now, once again, before we proceed, we need to check some key data on this screen also. What are they? Point number 1, ensure this is your user ID. Ensure this is your user ID. If it is not your user ID, log out. And where is the logout key? The logout key is here. So check number 1, user ID. Check number 2, user ID. If it is not your user ID, log out. Check number 3, you should ensure that this date is today's date in the branch. On some occasion, due to some technology issues, this date may be the previous day's date. If you see this date as previous date, immediately log out and inform your branch operations head. So check number 1, check number 2, check number 3. Check number 4, your Sol ID will come on the screen. What is Sol ID? It's a big word called Sol ID. What is Sol ID? Sol ID means Service Outlet ID. Remember, it's a big word in Finacle. Service Outlet ID, which means branch ID. Remember this. When you are given with a user ID and a password in Finacle, they also will give you something called a Sol ID. And what is the meaning of Sol ID? Service Outlet ID. And what is the meaning of Service Outlet ID? Branch ID. So check your Sol ID, ensure it is the Sol ID to which you belong to. So your user ID, the date, the Sol ID. Now we are ready to proceed. Only after checking these key data, remember, you should proceed. Now, as we have seen in the previous login screen, the Finacle starts below this line. Please remember this. Finacle starts below this line. Finacle starts below this line, and Finacle above this line, it is not Finacle. Please remember this big rule. Above this line, it is not Finacle. Therefore, never touch any of the keys above this line. Never touch any of these keys above this line, because you may be logged out of Finacle. And the next time when you log into Finacle, Finacle might come with a message saying, user already logged in. Why? Because you touched one of these keys and Finacle logged you out, because this is not Finacle. So when you have clicked on any of these keys, Finacle will log you out. And the next time when you log into Finacle, Finacle will come with a message, user already logged in, and one of your staff in the branch will have to enable your login ID. Therefore, do not touch any of the keys above this line, and remember only this is Finacle. Now there is a small formula you can remember. When you are on the Finacle screen, use the function key called F11. Use the function key called F11. Use the function key called F11. What is the advantage? Your screen will become large. Your screen will become large. And what is the advantage? Only Finacle will be there on the screen. So you don't have to worry whether you click above Finacle or below Finacle, because only Finacle will be there. Now it's very easy. See, your user ID is here. Your user ID is here. The date is there. The Sol ID is there, and checking will become very easy. So remember, use the function key F11. So only Finacle can be seen. So this is another formula you can remember. Yes. Now we are on the Finacle main screen. On the left side, you have the menu box. It's a long list. Remember, this list will give you all the options in Finacle, which runs into thousands. We need only 10 to 15 options. Therefore, generally, we keep this closed. The menu bar is generally kept closed. How do I get the menu bar back? Look at the screen. There is a menu option here. There is a menu option here. So if I want the menu box back, I only need to go there and click on the menu, and my menu is back here. Why do we need this menu here? Because all the options in Finacle are sorted, arranged topic wise. Suppose I want to know what are the inquiry options in Finacle. It is very easy. I only need to go to inquiries option. I click on the inquiries menu. The option gets expanded. Now, I want to see what are the options available under inquiry. Always remember, there are some pluses here, some minuses elsewhere. Wherever there is a plus, remember, you can expand. Look at the screen. Wherever there is a plus, you can expand. As soon as I click on plus, it gets expanded. And look at the screen again. There is a minus here. What is the meaning of minus? You can collapse. As soon as you click on the minus, it gets collapsed. See, as soon as I click on minus, it gets collapsed. As soon as I click on minus, it gets collapsed. So, wherever you see the plus, you can expand. I want to find out all the options in inquiries. I take the cursor, click on the inquiry. I want to find out all the options in account inquiry. I take the cursor, click on accounts inquiry. Now the options have come. So many options are there. Now, what is the first option? Account abnormal limits details inquiry. For example, I generally use only this option in Finacle. So what should I do? I will add this option into the favorites menu so that I don't have to remember the option. I only have to go to favorites and click on the option. So whenever you want to have a favorites menu bar, what you should do? Go to the option concerned, right click on the option. Immediately the option will give you add to favorites option. Click on add to favorite. Immediately an option which was there in the accounts inquiries menu will get copied and pasted here. Now what is the advantage? I don't need to remember the option. Whenever I want to run this option, I will take the cursor and go and click on the option, and here I am. So what are we trying to do? Whenever I want to add, let us try to add one more option to this. Suppose transaction inquiry, HACLI. I generally use, I want to add it to favorites. So I take the cursor to the option, I right click, immediately add to favorite comes. I click on add to favorite and it gets added here. So the next time, whenever I want to use the option transactions inquiry, I don't have to go and hit on this menu shortcut box. I can straight away come here, take the cursor, click on transactions inquiry. There we are. So this is how you can add options, and you can delete the option from favorites menu. How do I delete? Take the cursor, keep it on the option, right click, delete from favorite comes, click on delete from, it gets removed. If I want to delete this option from the favorites menu, take the cursor to the option, right click, delete from favorites, click, and it's gone. But generally, we keep this menu closed because we use hardly 10 to 15 options which we are able to remember easily. So the best way to use Finacle is straight away going and typing the options in the menu shortcut box. Where do I type the option? In the menu shortcut box, and the box is here. So generally, we do not use the menu bar. Generally, we do not use the menu bar. We always keep it closed and straight away go and type the various options here. One option, we will have a look at it and see how we can navigate this HACLINQ. This is one of the options in Finacle, very often used in Finacle. So point number one, go to menu shortcut, type the options and click on go. And it will take us to the option account ledger inquiry menu. And as we have already seen, the red asterisk, which means it is mandatory. And what is mandatory? The account number. If you know the account number, you can type the account number. And if you do not know the account number, there is a search lens, which is very critical in Finacle. Using this search, you can search for something belonging to the account ID here. So if we do not know what is the value, we can go and search. How do we search? Take the cursor, keep it on the lens, click, you get a search dialog box. How we search for an account number, we will learn later. But this dialog box comes depending upon what, suppose I want to search for an account number whose first name is Rajiv. So I type the name Rajiv in the short name, and there is a key called submit. And all customers whose short name is Rajiv will come on the screen. So this is the search. And this is an account information box. Suppose I type an account number here. Remember, this is called a search. And this is called account information box. After I type the account number here, if I hit this information box icon, it will open the box which will give you all the information about this account which were fed into Finacle when the account was opened. So remember the search and the information box. And at the bottom, you have got a key called Go. After you type, let's see, I search. I want to find out the account number of Rajiv. I click on Submit. I select the account number. And if I want to go to the next screen, I should hit Go. And it will take me to the next screen. And after checking here again, you have a box. What is this box? Information box. And what does this box have? It has got all the information about the available amount in this account. So wherever the box is placed, that will give you information about that particular field. Now here also we have this box. What this box will give you? This box will give you the effective available amount in this account. So remember, this box is very crucial. Now, if I click on this, how do I click on the box? Take the cursor, hit the box, and this will give you the details about the available balance, because on the screen it was the available balance. So we were on HSLNQ and we are back to the screen. Now suppose I search for Rajiv, and how do I proceed? I click on Submit. Now remember, in Finacle, we have some hotkeys available. We don't have to take the cursor and click on Submit. In lieu of that, there are a few hotkeys in Finacle. Which are the hotkeys in Finacle? On the screen. Anywhere on the screen, if you use a hotkey called Control K, Control plus K, if you hit anywhere on the screen, Control K, this will give you all the hotkeys in Finacle. See, very simple. There are so many hotkeys in Finacle. And some of the most used hotkey is, one is F10. One is F10. What is F10 used for? Wherever the key submit is there in Finacle, instead of clicking on submit, you can use the hotkey F10. And the other very often used key is F4. When is that used? On the screen, if the key go or OK or accept is there, you can use F4. So generally what we do, have a look at all the hotkeys in Finacle, take a printout of the screen, stick it onto your notice board, and slowly start using the hotkeys. And you will reach a point when you don't need the list again, remove and start using the hotkey. Let's see how it is used. Now there is a hotkey called F2. What is it used for? F2. F2 is equal to search. F2 is equal to search. How do we search? Now in this, I want to search. You can either hit on the search lens or use the hotkey F2. We have already seen how to click. Let us see whether F2 works. F2. See, the dialog box came. And how do we go about? I type Rajiv because I want to search for the account number of Rajiv. How do I proceed? Either I can use click on the submit key, or I can use the F10 key, which is equal to submit. See, the result has come. So remember, there are some hotkeys in Finacle using which you can proceed. I take the cursor, click on the HTML text, it gets copied and pasted to the screen, and now I can either click on go or use the hotkey called F4. Result is the same, and then I can use the F4 again. I am back. And remember another very often used option called home. Now we are on the option screen. I want to go back to the home screen in Finacle. What is the option I should use? Home. Home. Click on go. It will ask you, are you sure? Say yes. And here we are back home. So this is how you can fairly comfortably navigate in Finacle. I hope this video will help you to move around in Finacle, explore Finacle, and it will help you to work with Finacle easier and easelessly. There are so many other options and boxes available. We will learn all these one by one. And before we end up, how to log out from Finacle. Now, there is one logout key here, and there is another logout key here. There is another logout key here. Which one should you use? As I have already told you, always use only the red and white folder here. Never use any other key to log in. Never ever. Only this red and white folder, not even this logout key. This logout will log you out of only FinCore. Look at the screen. I click on this logout. It will log me out from only FinCore. And if I click on logout, I have been logged out of FinCore, but I am still inside Finacle. Therefore, make it a habit always to log out from Finacle using the red and white folder. So I click on this and I get logged out, and we are back to the main Finacle login screen. So that's all for today. That is all for today. In the next short video, we will take up options one by one. And I request you keep watching these videos. Whenever you have any query regarding an option, go to that particular video and keep learning. Thank you so much for joining, and see you shortly.